Hi, I'm Brennen Small. I'm a senior project manager here at 10 Atoms. And my hot take for the day is plans are useless. Planning is essential. In healthcare marketing, plans often change, but that can be a good thing. Plans will evolve, and it's not a failure, it can actually be a competitive advantage. The ability to adapt in real time leads to more innovative and more impactful projects. Why this is true: projects are iterative by nature. Marketing itself is inherently dynamic and things will change often, and you have to be comfortable with that. Being adaptive means you can stay relevant and competitive. Healthcare marketing can often benefit from having adaptive or agile timelines. Traditionally, we will use fixed and rigid timelines, which don't really lend itself to making the changes needed on the fly. Using agile or flexible timelines allows teams to stay on track and make incremental progress. One other main issue with planning too much up front is the fact that not everything is urgent or important. We'll put a lot of things in plans that never happen and never should be in there in the first place. And one way we can really combat this is using a prioritization framework. The Eisenhower matrix allows you to plot things that are urgent versus things that are important and really identify what we should be working on at any given time. So on the vertical axis, you'll plot importance. On the horizontal axis, you'll plot urgency, and you'll end up with 4 squares of where you can allocate different activities and tasks. For example, things that are both urgent and important are the things that you should be doing right now and the things that you should be focusing your immediate attention to. Things that are important but not urgent are things that we should schedule and we should plan, and those should come next to the prioritization framework. Things that are urgent but not important are often emails, the firefighting we get stuck in, but really if we can delegate those things to someone better suited to that, you will be able to focus more time on those priorities. And lastly, things that are not urgent or not important, we should delete. We should not be doing at all. And seeing it visually in a prioritization framework can really get everyone on the same page to really know what we should be doing and realize we're not going to be able to do everything we set out to do. Why we are trained to do the opposite. The comfort of certainty. Having a plan in place makes us feel like we can predict and we know what's going on, when really in reality, we often don't know and plans will change. And so knowing the plan is going to change allows you to be more adaptable when it inevitably happens. Often if we have too much of an overemphasis on planning up front, that can lead to paralysis when things inevitably change and allow us not to adapt as well as we can if we know that things will change and we are prepared for it. What it costs us when we don't do this the right way: missed opportunities. Sticking too rigidly to a preset plan means we risk ignoring new data, new insights that will emerge mid-project. Another issue is wasted resources. Teams often spend time over-planning up front. You're pulling in multiple team members who shouldn't even be working on something in the first place. If we don't adapt, we may lead to burnout or stifled creativity for team members. Someone may have a great idea that they suggest mid-project, but if it was not part of the initial plan, they may stop speaking up and we could really benefit from having their ideas. The other issue is failure to build a long-term strategy. If we focus too much on the day-to-day planning, we really stay in the weeds and focus on those short-term goals, and we really risk not meeting those long-term goals. Calling back to that matrix, really focusing on those things that are both important, even if they're not urgent, really keeps us focused on what the long-term goals and objectives are. Top tips on how to get started. Start with a flexible framework, not a concrete plan. Instead of overloading upfront planning, focus on key objectives, milestones, and non-negotiables, and then get started. Something else that's really important on a project is feedback loops. Building these into the workflow of the process can really allow ideas to flow from different team members and ensure we stay on track. Often there's a lot of excitement when a project kicks off, but then people get heads down in the work and ideas are often not brought to the table. So building these into weekly meetings and ensuring all stakeholders are at the table allows you to get multiple points of view. So involving marketing, involving creative, involving digital, all from their own perspectives can allow a well-rounded approach to the project. The last tip I will share is the importance of testing. Often we will debate internally on this idea is better, this idea is better, but really getting objective feedback is so critical both at the beginning and throughout the life of a project. There are often 2 ways to approach a campaign, one with a rigid approach and one with a flexible approach. In the rigid approach, everything is outlined up front, stick exactly to the plan, and there are no changes within the project. However, even if things change and we do need to adapt, it can often be more costly because we didn't build in that flexibility. For version B, when we are more flexible, a plan that starts with a solid framework but then builds in that flexibility allows us to adapt as we receive new data and will ultimately lead to a better solution. Instead of the more traditional approach of plan, execute, deliver, we like to focus on launch, test, and then refine. So remember, stop overplanning. Flexibility wins. For more tips and tricks, follow 10 Atoms on social or visit us on our website. Nope. No, we don't.